The last thing I saw clearly before they wheeled me into that operating room was a sticky note, pale yellow. Inside my phone case, 7 words in blue ballpoint, the handwriting of a 15-year-old who still hasn't figured out that capital letters aren't optional. Don't stress, Dad. The boys can wait. I sat in that prep room in a hospital gown that didn't close right in the back, and I cried. Nurse named Terry pretended not to notice. I appreciated that more than I can say. Let me back up. My name is Daniel. I'm 44. I manage commercial HVAC projects in Portland, and I've been raising my son Marcus alone since he was 8. The divorce wasn't dramatic. Just 2 people who figured out too late they weren't right for each other, and decided the kindest thing left to do was stop pretending. Marcus and I have a Friday night routine. For the last 3 years, if neither of us has anywhere to be, we watch something together. Started with Breaking Bad when he was 12. Judge me if you want, and we've worked through a long list since. Last year we found The Boys. He was obsessed. I was obsessed. We'd pause every 20 minutes to argue about what just happened, whether a character made the right call, whose theory was correct. Those Fridays are the best part of my week. I mean that. So, when the new season dropped in August, Marcus sent me a voice memo from school. 11 seconds. Just a sound I can only describe as a small animal being joyfully tortured. Then a text. Friday. We are watching. Do not make plans. 2 days later, my ophthalmologist called with a referral. I'd been ignoring vision problems for 8 months. Halos around streetlights. Text that swam when I was tired. My right eye feeling like it was looking through wax paper. I told myself it was age. I told myself a lot of things. The specialist confirmed epiretinal membrane, scar tissue over the macula of my right eye, distorting my central vision. The fix was a vitrectomy. Low risk, routine procedure. But recovery meant 2 weeks of no screens, heavy light sensitivity, someone around to drive me and watch for complications. When he asked if I had support at home, I thought of Marcus and said yes. I told Marcus on a Wednesday over Thai takeout. Explained it plainly. The vision problems, the surgery, the recovery. 2 weeks, probably no TV. He was quiet for a second. Then, so we can't watch The Boys. Not right away. He processed that, set it aside. Then, how bad is the thing with your eye actually? That was the question that mattered. I told him the truth, that without surgery, it would get worse. That I'd been compensating for months without fully realizing it. Dad, he used the tone he reserves for when I've done something genuinely unreasonable. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Didn't want to worry you. He looked at me the way his mother used to, patient, slightly disappointed, head tilted. I'm glad you told me now, he said quietly. Before he went to his room that night, he stopped in the doorway. The boys will still be there. Don't worry about it. The 2 weeks before surgery were harder than the surgery itself. Marcus became quietly attentive in the way teenagers almost never are. He started doing dishes without negotiation. He walked our beagle Sprout every day. One evening, I came home tired from a rough work day and found leftovers heated up on the counter with a sticky note. Eat first. Talk about work stuff after. I don't know where he learned that. I think he'd just been watching me for 15 years. The night before surgery, we watched a movie together, his pick, a 90s road trip film about a father and son that neither of us mentioned was thematically on the nose. About an hour in, without saying anything, Marcus slid a little closer on the couch the way he used to when he was small. I pretended not to notice. He pretended he hadn't done it. Surgery morning, he was up at 5:30 without an alarm. Just appeared in the kitchen while I was nursing coffee I technically wasn't supposed to have, looking like someone who had been awake for 30 seconds and was making a heroic effort. When my sister Deborah pulled up to drive me, Marcus walked me to the door. Text me when you're out, he said. Then, with the specific awkwardness of a 15-year-old trying to say something real, "You're gonna be fine." I hugged him. He let me, which at 15 is not guaranteed. In the car, reaching for my phone, I found the note inside the case. "Don't stress, Dad. The boys can wait." My sister glanced over. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm good." Recovery was slow and dim. Literally, Marcus kept the house dark in the mornings after figuring out on his own that full kitchen light bothered my eye through the bandaging. He took phone calls in his room. He kept Sprout walked and fed. He came home from school one afternoon, sat in the armchair with the dog on his lap, and just kept me company in the quiet. "You know, you don't have to come straight home," I told him. "I know," he said. I wanted to. On day 8, my vision got worse. Not the dramatic way, no sudden darkness, but the distortion seemed sharper, not better. I called Dr. Mabe's office trying to stay calm. Marcus drove me to the appointment. Permit driver, Monday afternoon traffic into OHSU, he handled it quietly and competently. Found parking. Sat in the waiting room without asking to come in. Turned out the worsening was normal. A temporary shift as the eye adjusts. I was healing correctly. In the parking structure on the way out, Marcus said, "So we're good?" "We're good." He checked his mirrors, pulled out, and said, "You want food or home?" "Home." "Yeah," he said. "Me too." On day 13, one day before the 2-week mark, he knocked on my bedroom door after dinner. "Can I show you something?" He came in with his laptop, turning the screen toward me with this expression I hadn't quite seen before, somewhere between excited and uncertain, like he was playing a card he wasn't sure would land. He'd made an annotated playlist. Every episode of The Boys, with his own notes beside the ones that mattered. Not spoilers, more like context. Themes, moments flagged for discussion, things he wanted to argue about. At the bottom, "I rewatched season 3 while you were recovering, so I'd remember all the details." I wanted to be ready. Also, don't argue with me about EP7 until you've read the note for EP7. "You rewatched the whole season," I said. "Just the important parts." "Marcus." I also adjusted the TV settings, he said, pushing forward. Lowered the brightness and contrast. Kept a lamp on. I read that's better than total darkness for your eye during recovery. I stared at him. "I Googled it," he said, like that was a completely normal thing to have done. He set the laptop on the bed between us. "Your eye's almost better, right? We could probably watch tomorrow." We watched the first episode the next evening. Low brightness, lamp on, Sprout between us. About 12 minutes in, Marcus paused it. "Did you catch that?" I have a note about that moment. I saw it. And I have thoughts. Go. We talked for 20 minutes before pressing play again. Somewhere in the second episode, watching him gear up for another argument about a fictional character with the conviction of someone who had genuinely prepared, I thought about what the last 2 weeks had actually been. The fear I'd carried quietly, the sticky note, the dim kitchen light, the parking structure, the annotated playlist made by a kid who rewatched the TV show so he'd be ready when his dad could watch again. I've been a single parent for 7 years. I worry about what Marcus might be missing, whether the Fridays we protect matter as much as I hope, whether I'm present enough. I measure things. That night, I realized I'd been measuring the wrong things. It's not the total hours. It's the quality of the attention. The instinct at 15 to Google post-vitrectomy viewing conditions because you want to be ready. The note inside the phone case. The lamp already adjusted before you even asked. My eye is still recovering. About 3 months out now. Vision tracking well. We finished the season. We've argued at length about multiple plot decisions, and one subplot Marcus is definitively wrong about and will not concede. We have another Friday coming up. Sprout has already claimed the couch. Everything is fine. I used to think parenting was about giving time, stability, examples. And it is. But somewhere in those 2 quiet weeks, I realized the relationship had become something else, something mutual. He was giving things to me too, not because I'd taught him to, just because that's who he'd become somewhere between 8 and 15, between the divorce and the takeout dinners and the Friday nights. A person who shows up. I can't take full credit for that. I think some of it is just him, and that might be the best thing I've ever seen. When did you realize someone younger in your life had quietly grown into someone remarkable? Was it a single moment, or did it sneak up on you? Tell me in the comments.